even if they played today, they would be big and fast. Like, it wouldn't. Wilt Chamberlain today would be big and athletic. Eric Dickerson looked like a defensive end. I mean, look how big he is. This is in the 70s.
It's so fun to watch. I know. And he
80s.
just looks...
Look how fast he is.
So
big.
Terrifying. I don't know. I feel bad for defensive backs sometimes. Like, that's rough. That's a tough position to play. I don't want to tackle him.
Well, it's a tough division if you have to tackle that. But, I mean, look how broad he is.
I know. No, he looks like a defensive lineman.
He's 6'4", 240, and he's the fastest guy in the field.
It's amazing. So Teddy Bridgewater did not find the success he was hoping for in his first year as a Panthers starter. His inconsistency has also brought up questions about whether he'll be keeping that starting job. And he was asked about the possibility of Carolina drafting a quarterback next year.
And I understand business is business, but, that doesn't affect me. I just train every day like, man, it's mine. I just have to control what I can control, which is how hard I work, the type of leader that I am, the amount of time and work that I put in this offseason. This is my team, and I'm going to continue to conduct myself that way.
So the Panthers have the 8th pick in the draft. As Bucky said earlier, this is something that is a very serious conversation in Carolina about whether they're going to draft a quarterback. What I'm trying to figure out is where they're finding these quarterbacks that everybody plans on drafting.
Because the Jags and Jets will draft one. At least Atlanta or Detroit, one of those two is drafting one. So that's 3 out. That's 3 out. So they probably get the 4th best quarterback, which I think is Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, and the kid from North Dakota that didn't play, but his YouTube video is amazing. Trey Lance is, again, it's YouTube. I didn't watch their games, but if you watch him, he looks a lot like Justin Fields running around. Like, he's a big, mobile kid.
I mean, maybe there's a sleeper in that 4 to 8 range of quarterbacks in this draft. How many teams on that list need one now? It seems like it's a bit of a stretch. I think they're going to have to be a little more strategic. I don't know that I would do that with the 8th pick from the Panthers.
Well, Teddy's had an injury before. You could make the argument, listen, Teddy's got 2 more years. Teddy's been hurt. We just need it because we think next year we can win. So let's...
If you feel like you're a year away, then yeah, it's probably a good move because Teddy can remain the starter and you don't have to put him out there right away, especially if you're kind of reaching for a quarterback to begin with.
So Teddy's, I think we've said this, it's very Alex Smith.
Right.
Is that...
There's limitations.
But mentor, winning games...
No, that's what I'm saying. So if you feel like you're reaching for a quarterback at that position, which you probably will be.
Then go get a great defensive player. Keep building your defense up.
Yeah. They went all defense last year, so you might want to get some offensive pieces as well. So the Cowboys will be working again to get Dak Prescott signed to a long-term deal, and Jerry Jones thinks Dak is in a great position during contract negotiations.
I don't know how you could have any more leverage. His evolving into an NFL quarterback has been nothing short of a perfect picture. And he has great ability, in my mind, to win games. He's talented. He certainly has experience. And so he has all the things, as substantiated by what we've offered Dak. You wouldn't be offering Dak what's been offered him in the past had you not thought he was very special.
Yeah, he does have leverage.
He has lots of leverage, especially after the way that the season ended.
And his teammates love him, and that's a big deal.
Yeah, fans love him.
In the room.
Teammates love him. He's at the top in terms of contracts for the Cowboys, Stephen Jones said. If the Cowboys use the franchise tag on Dak again in 2021, it will cost them $37.68 million.
See, this is the one thing, though, and I know this will ring hollow, but if I'm Dak Prescott, I know that I'm going to get endorsements I would never get in Dallas. I know that if I take slightly less, I have better teammates. I know that. I mean, I know this sounds crazy. There's no state tax. You can buy an unbelievable home in Dallas for $2 million. That you couldn't even get land in Los Angeles for that. Land in New York. You couldn't get a parking spot. But in Dallas for $2.5–3 million, you get an acre. You get a spread. If you took like 29 to 30 instead of 38, that's a starting corner. And I know it sounds ridiculous, but there's so much. I always felt D-Wade in Miami. So D-Wade got Pat Riley. It's the only East Coast free agent market that anybody wants to play in. You got a great owner. There was value in a salary cap sport for D-Wade taking a little less so I can get Shaq and I can get Gary Payton. And I think that's what, because bottom line is one of the reasons D-Wade is a legend is because he was in so many playoff games and so many finals. And I'm not telling Dak to take some massive pay cut, but if I was Dak, and as an agent, you could never tell anybody this, but if I was Dak, I'm thinking, as long as you guaranteed me you'd spend the money on like a free agent, I think I would take as a quarterback a little less, especially on a massive brand.
I had no problem with him gambling on himself, betting on himself last year. After the injury, after the way that the season went, after seeing what the NFC East is going to develop into, Joe Judge is there in New York. They're progressing. We don't know what's going on with Philadelphia, but Washington certainly has their defense in place. If they get a quarterback, they're a problem. You need to be aggressive now. And betting on yourself is fine, but you have the injury now. Take less. In the end, to your point, it's gonna all equal out.
Listen, if you sign a 4-year deal, most of it guaranteed, you're going to make $120 million in Dallas. That isn't even, that's like making $160 million in California or New York because of taxes. Like, I don't know. I'm
not in a position to tell people to take less money.
But it does.
If I was in that situation, in Dak's situation, I would sign the long-term deal.
So that's what I would do.
Get the guaranteed money. Do a team-friendly deal on the back end. You're going to get another contract eventually. We see how the quarterback market and how the free agency market for quarterbacks is now. Never before in the history of the NFL were quarterbacks moving around the way that they are now. Yeah. So you'll likely get another contract. I think that the injury changed things. He does have all the leverage based off of the way the season ended and Andy Dalton performed. But I think that they will end up working something out, and it won't be another franchise tag situation. So John Elway has announced that he will step down as Broncos general manager, but will remain in his role as team president. So Denver will hire a new GM who will have full authority to oversee the personnel and football department. Both the new GM and coach Vic Fangio will report to Elway. So Drew Lock's fate will fall to the next GM, and Fangio, as Elway told reporters, that the quarterback's future and other roster decisions will not be dictated to the new hire. Vic Fangio said Drew Lock can be the starter in 2021, but needs to improve. So this is kind of a drastic move for Denver.
Well, being a general manager is hard. It's a grinder's job. I don't like celebrity general managers. John is a very successful businessman.